The next talk is given by Professor Wian Zhen. He's going to teach us how to make money by high-frequency trading and using the theory of stationary processes.
Thank Chairman Lee, and also thank the organizer to give me the opportunity to speak here. And also as a part of the landlord here, so I have to welcome everyone to East China Normal University campus. Okay, so I can guarantee today's talk of my talk is the easiest talk of this conference. I guarantee. All right. Now, in mathematical finance, there is a basic hypothesis. It's called the arbitrage free. I think everyone probably know this hypothesis. But then, according to this definition, casino game, all those casino games are not arbitrage. Why? Because this is a roulette machine. You know, the half of them are black, half of them are red, but only this one, the green one. But if the balls get into the green one, then the casino takes the money, right? But then we can find out the chance to get the green is 1 out of 37. Okay. But this probability that casino is more than enough to cover all the cost. So the reason it is not arbitrage because although the casino has the probability of 19 over 37 to win the game. And the gambler only have the 18 over 37 to win the game. All right. However, you know the law of large number, particularly the strong law of large number, gives casino, okay, the chance to be the final winner. So what I'm doing, actually what my group is doing in the past 3 years, is trying to find the law of large number in the financial big data. So we do not try to establish any model. We are just doing the things based on the simplest hypothesis or the simplest result. Our idea is we try to apply the strong ergodic theory to the financial big data. Because we know that in casino game, we assume all those gambles are independent. Okay? The gambling results are independent, so the law of large number holds. However, if you assume you have a sequence of stationary process, okay, a sequence of stationary data, then the strong ergodic theorem holds. All right. So what we are doing is trying to find out sequence of stationary data, and based on which we can apply the strong ergodic theorem to become the winner. All right. So now in the financial market, the real financial market, okay, there are two methods basically to study the financial data. One is called a fundamental analysis, all right? And the other is called a technical analysis. And these two groups of people, they don't like each other. Okay, the fundamental analysts think the technical analysis are pseudoscience. All right, so I just found there was one book written by some professor in Wall Street, and he just mentioned all those technical analysis are useless, and he even quoted Chuck's name and the work he consulted. Okay, but then, but I guess he just just use Chuck's name as a big flag to show my research is serious. But then I look into his argument. I find out he used the data which is daily data. It means he used stock price of each day, the last price of each day, which is useless. Actually, what we are based on is the stock price every half second. So you think he has one data each day, and I have thousands of data. So if you consider those half second data, you find out the fundamental analysis is useless. Why? Because the fundamental analysis will not change by every second. So the fundamental analysis lost its power if you try to trade, according to the seconds or minutes. Okay. So since the people here most of the people are serious mathematicians here, so I have to explain to you what is program trading. All right. So suppose we have someone, the fund manager wants to purchase 500,000 shares of Tesla. Tesla is an electronic car, okay, and which sold for about $50,000 in the U.S. and here it's sell like 740,000 Chinese yuan in China. And the share price, will jump if someone will just claim that he want to purchase 500,000 shares. So nowadays in Wall Street, or even in Chicago, the Nasdaq, the trade, and the people just don't purchase 500,000 shares just in 1 minute or something. But what they do is they purchase the stock price of 99 shares each time, so that the people don't know that there are some big buyers. All right. So what they do is they use program trading, use a computer program to purchase the 500,000 shares separately. In the volume of hundreds, actually it's 99 shares in the volume. Okay, so the major criterion to evaluate the program is to see how many basic points of the mean purchasing price is less than the mean price of these shares in that afternoon. So the program designer should make the purchasing price lower, lower than the average price in that afternoon. Okay. Now, if someone is able to purchase the stocks under the mean price, then certainly symmetrically he can sell also the shares above the mean price. So suppose this one is the selling price, S is the selling price, the B is the purchasing price, and the C is the cost. If this difference is bigger than 0, and then this guy just gained money in that afternoon. That's the secret of high frequency trading. There are many books, which discuss high frequency trading and the technical analysis. I think there are more than 30, 40, maybe hundreds, including those books published in Chinese.
Excuse me, so you don't really want to buy 500,000 of
No, the first thing is I say if the fund manager ask the guy who purchased 500,000 shares, then he should purchase it under the average price.
Yes. Then why does he want to sell?
But I say, suppose he's able to purchase, then he should be able to sell it as well. If he can sell it above the mean price as well, then certainly he can make instant money.
Then what's the point to want to buy such a huge amount of?
Make money?
I forgot that.
You know,
I think the point is these are related but two different scenarios.
Yes.
yes, the related to the things. So my first thing is to purchase it under the mean price. Okay. Then the second thing is just says that if he can really purchase it under the mean price, then by symmetrical reason he can sell it above the mean price. Okay. But if some guy is able to do both of them, then he can get instant money certainly. He repeatedly do it, he can make instant money every day. All right? And that's my argument. All right, so there are hundreds of books about technical analysis and the high frequency trading, but none of them tell you the secret. So I published one book which is going to appear in the summer, and with a real serious guy in the Chinese financial market. In that one, we disclosed the real reason about underneath of the high frequency trading. There is a mathematical reason. We reveal that. So two publishers, just published for us. One is the Imperial College of London, Imperial College Press, and the other is World Scientific Press. Okay. So at the beginning, I thought they promised us to publish it the next month, but then they saw our book. They think they should try to sell more copies. So then they postponed to the summer and try to estimate how many volume they can sell. All right. Now,
Maybe they want to invest some money in the market while they're waiting before they sell it. Everybody finds out the secret.
possibly. Now I tell you something which is real. In Chinese market, stock market, there are T+1 rule. It means that you cannot sell the stock shares you purchased today. So you can only sell the stocks shares, purchased yesterday, but you cannot immediately sell the stock shares today. However, in the futures market, the Chinese has two markets. One is the stock market, the other is the future. In the future market, okay, people are allowed to sell this one immediately. You can sell it immediately. So we essentially studied the Chinese futures market. So there is a major Chinese index which is called the Shenzhen Shanghai 300 index, which is just like the S&P 500 in the US market. Now, so currently the Shenzhen Shanghai 300 index is about 2,000 points. So each point has a value of 300 Chinese yuan. So 100 of this Shenzhen Shanghai 300 index costs about 600,000 Chinese yuan, which is like 100,000 Chinese US dollar. All right. Here I use count because this talk gave in Oxford before, so I forgot to switch into the US dollar side. And another thing is you don't need to really purchase the to spend 300,000 Chinese yuan to purchase 100 of this index future. You only need to pay 12% of the deposit. So it means that you really need to only have like 100,000 Chinese yuan, then you can purchase and sell this index futures. Okay, so where is the law of large number? I'll show you next. Here is the data, okay, of this index fusion, the blue one. That's on the February 28th of last year. And you can see the blue one is the real value, and there are those are technical indicators. Those are called the Bollinger Bands. This green one is the lower Bollinger Bands. This brown one is the upper Bollinger Bands. And then you have the moving average, 10 days moving, 10 minutes moving average, 20 minutes moving average. This one is called MACD, this one is called ROC, this one is RSI. Those are all considered as pseudoscience by the fundamental analysis. However, okay, I think that many other people, they believe it. However, they don't know the mathematical reason how to use those indicators. No one ever published this. And then we discovered that way. We essentially, the idea is we try to find out the stationary process inside of those data. Okay, now we can find a stationary process. That's a station. If some professor want to, okay, give a lecture on stationary process to his students, they can use this one as a typical stationary process. Or in statistics, they call it stationary time series. So how I get it? Essentially, I get this one from, okay, you take a logarithm of the price, then you take the difference of half second. Because in China, the finest data is 1 second per data. I was told by Teddy Lyons at Oxford University, he was so jealous at my data, he has no data. And I believe most of my colleagues who study financial mathematics have no data either. Okay, because those data are very expensive, but I get those data for free.
Are you trying to tell us that your book will be useless for Terry Lance?
Pardon?
Are you trying to tell us that your book will be useless for Terry Lance because he doesn't have any
But
data?
actually, they have a seminar to discuss my book last quarter. So, okay. I think possibly it's useful. Otherwise, they will not organize a seminar to discuss the manuscript of our book. Okay, this went nearly 1 semester.
Boyan,
Yeah.
I think I misunderstood what you said. This is half second increments?
Yes,
But
half second increment.
But didn't you say that the data is by the second? How do you get half second?
It's by half second.
Oh, it's given by half second. Oh, okay.
Data. So the Chinese market, okay, you can get the half second data,
Wow.
right?
That's expensive.
No.
No?
I got them.
No, for them to produce it, isn't it?
I checked with our colleague, Knut Solna.
Yeah.
It looks like he has only minutes data.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but there's a big difference between the minutes data and the half second
Yeah, of
data.
course.
1 minute data is equal to 120 data to me.
Uh-huh.
So my 1 month of data equal to
Mhm.
10
Wow.
years of 1 minute data. But 10 years of minute data is useless. Why? Because in Wall Street, in 10 years, the traders are changed a lot, maybe even 2 generations. So really, 10 years of data meaningless. And my data is, I just use 1 month of data, which is enough to compare with 10.
And this is freely available only to you or to anybody?
But
Who can get this data?
honestly, I have a course for my book.
I see.
Who designed the platform for Chinese future exchange? So you can
Private.
get boss, who work with you, then you can all get all the data.
I see. It's private data.
No, not private data. Because if you know computer very well, you can record
You can extract
all the
it.
data.
I see.
Yes, it's not private. So
Okay.
so my friend Ted was unhappy. He said, in UK all those data are controlled by Reuters. They sold the data. The Reuters sold those data by lines. Okay, according to how much for each line. So I got data for free. That's lucky. You go back, I couldn't get my data, but in Shanghai I got all my data.
But you shared your book with your co-author. You shared the authorship.
No, we published with two names. And his name is W, his name is Wang, my name is Z, so he's the first author.
You're probably never the first author.
But
You're probably never the first author.
no, I know him when he was 16 years old.
Nobody, your last name starts late in the
Wang,
alphabet.
yes, he's the last. So, so a lot of Chinese traders, those Chinese trading companies, at the beginning they thought I'm just doing mathematics. But after they saw my co-author, they realized those are serious people. Okay, so for someone who studied Black-Scholes geometry of Brownian motion, you can find out. For geometry of Brownian motion, if you take a logarithm, that's Brownian motion. So the increment of Brownian motion is stationary. The same thing is for exponential Levy process. You can find out also all those things are satisfied, even for the fractional Brownian motions, mean level, is you find out. But the better news is, if you look into my data, you can find out that that's not a normal distribution. That's not normal distribution. It's almost concentrated on these two lines. If you use minute data, you can find a normal distribution. But if you use half second, forget normal distribution. Professor Shaw may tell you, I think, he can identify immediately from this one. Actually, my student is serious in computer, in all those programs to find that those are not normal. All right, so idea is now I find out, okay, stationary process. Now I want to use a strong ergodic theorem. To use that one to make a profit. So the idea is the following. The idea is that we transfer all those technical indicators into stationary process. Okay, so for example, this is called the moving average. The MA is called the moving average. That's the mean of n data in the past n units. And this one is called exponential moving average. Okay, that's the weighted mean. Those things are not stationary. However, you can transfer them into stationary. The only thing you need to do is divide them by the current price. Because if we divide by current price, then it becomes exponential of the logarithm of the logarithm price of I unit away, and the logarithm price of current time. So this will become immediately the logarithm increment of price. So this one is the function of logarithm increment. And the moving average, exponential moving average are all become function of the logarithm increment. So they are stationary. All right, so I show you that. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Now I show you another one. Bollinger Bands. The Bollinger Bands also can be transferred into stationary process. Essentially, Bollinger Bands is defined as the current price take away the exponential mean, and then divided by the molecular. Okay, so what I do is I write them precisely. Then I find out they have a cofactor for the numerator and the denominator. I take away the co. I divide it by the cofactor, which is the exponential of PD. That's a cofactor. I divide it by this, then this will become a function of the logarithm increment. which is also stationary.
Excuse me, where does this 2.5 come from?
Which one?
The 2.5 times the standard
2.5.
deviation.
2.0. The Bollinger Bands, I have the Bollinger Bands, here in the Bollinger Bands. The Bollinger Band is used for the exponential moving average plus or the minus 2.5 of the validity.
And what does this 2.5 represent?
That represents actually that's discovered by Bollinger, Mr. Bollinger, and it's very famous. You can, if you look into the technical analysis, this is one of the basic concept. So why he used 2.5, I don't know actually. So but everyone knows that's 2.5. All right, but he has no proof either. But we published that book, that paper actually 9 years ago. Okay, it's 8 years ago. We published the paper. After we published the paper, Bollinger, Mr. Bollinger is still alive, so he immediately got copyright for his Bollinger Band. So I do not know if my talk is legal here. You know, he has been copyright recently. Okay. I hope he will not. You just check Bollinger Bands or you type it, Google it, you immediately find out the language. But now it has a copyright sign. Okay. But I can tell you when we started to do research, when we published our paper, we didn't see his copyright. All right, now you can see that's the stationary process associated with Bollinger Bands. Another way is MACD. MACD is the short-term exponential moving average minus the longer-term longer-term moving exponential moving average. That's the difference. So if the MACD is positive, means the short-term trend is higher than the long-term trend. So it's kind of bullish side. And then you take the exponential moving average of this MACD. Again, it's called signal. Then you take their difference, which is called a histogram. So if the histogram is from negative to positive, it is a sign that the market is going to up. All right, so here is, but that's not stationary either. So what I do is I divide the histogram divided by the price of n minus n plus k unit time ago, then it becomes stationary. Okay, that's a stationary process. Now I have a lot of stationary process. And the last stationary process is the logarithm return. So I can find a strategy to purchase, sell, purchase, sell, purchase, sell to get a stationary sequence. If according to the historical data, according to strong ergodic theorem, our earning is positive, take away the costs, it's still positive, then we can do it. Since we have a law of large number, we can open a casino game in the stock market. So that's the real reason. Okay, now I show you more serious reason. So this is the logarithm increment. This is the logarithm increment. Now this is indicator. This I can take either 1 or 0. So if the I equal to 0, the entire thing is 0, it means you do not hold the stock or do not hold the futures. So your profit is 0. All right? But if this one equal to 1, then your profit just follow the real profit of the logarithm return. But if your I indicator is a function of your technical indicators, then you can find out that this one and together with this difference, they are two-dimensional stationary. So their product is stationary. So essentially, when the K moves, you have a sequence of stationary process. So you can apply strong law of large number. Okay. So this is the strong law of large number divided by the total unit, by n, capital N. Then if you find out your strategy give you the profit, then you can apply this one to the future data to make further profit. Okay, Professor?
I'm convinced.
Yeah. So this is the real secret Wall Street didn't tell you. All right? And no one published this before. Then I'm very proud of that. I'm happy. Although the mathematics is trivial, but we discover something. Right?
The profit after the cost of transaction?
Yes, exactly. Now I should add the cost of transaction. Now, in Chinese market, the cost is here. This is the cost. It's 0.25% of total price. So suppose you trade, this is the timing of your trade. Then you multiply, because this one is the after deduction of the cost, 1 minus this 0.25%. That's the deduction of your total value. Then after the logarithm. So that's the logarithm effect of your total transaction cost. And actually, I can identify this is stationary as well. The sum of stationary as well. Why? Because you can see my I can either equal to 1 and 0. If it's 1 in the previous unit and it's still 1, now you didn't make transaction. But if this one from 1 to 0 or 0 to 1, it means you made a transaction. So this sigma is essentially the total time of the transaction. You multiply the transaction, that's the total transaction cost. It's which is still sum of stationary process. The real serious one is this one. After you consider the transaction cost, that's the real cost, the real profit. So our students, my students, work very hard in the past 2 years and 2 years and a half. Okay, they studied very hard to find out the trick to make this positive, then to get a good job. Unfortunately, my students, I have 2 students, they both graduated, got my PhD, and they got a good job. But they ask me nicely each time when they had a difficulty. However, I do not know their last step. The last step is their own. Okay, they came to me and said, Professor Zheng, it didn't work, your method didn't work. Then I said, to do something. Then they came to me, oh, no, this one still does not work. Then I said, do something else. But then they keep quiet. I know they are successful, all right? So my younger PhD students never know what their academic senior brother did, because the last step are secret. They are secret. So Terry Lance suggested me to write a contract to my students before they become my students to learn the trick. Okay, so but I haven't done yet. Okay, so now I tell you one trick here. Here is MSE. That's a stationary process. My student tried to purchase at this red line. Okay, find the red line and the other line is sale. You purchase here, you sell there. Certainly there is a cut lost line which is hidden, right? Because if this one go up, the MSCI go up there, you sell it. If this one around this way, you buy, and after that you sell it. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. But when you buy, maybe the stock will go lower, which is not expected, then you cut lost, right? The cut lost trick, the trick is hidden. But then my student find out that's his profit. Okay, that's his profit. You can see that when his profit is 600 points. 600 points, you multiply 300 yuan. That's 160,000 Chinese yuan. Okay, and the money they invest is only, I say that because you only need to pay 12% as deposit. So they use 100,000 Chinese yuan to gain 180,000 Chinese yuan. So the profit is more than 100%. All right? However, they are still secret. They are still secret because I do the research which is according to the last price. Because in the stock market, in the real world, in the stock market, there are three prices. One is called the bid price. The other is called ask price. And another one, the third one is called the last price. In mathematical finance, we only study the last price. So my research is also on the last price. But if you want to really gain money, please, you should be careful for the difference between the bid price, ask price, and the last price. Okay, bid price means that's the price you can immediately sell. Ask price means that's the price you can immediately purchase. The last price is the price of last trade. But in Black-Scholes model, they don't identify these three prices. So they use only last price. So my research is also according to the last price. So if you really want to use this trick, you should be careful. Okay, I use the last price. The real price is not the last price because you want to purchase it and immediately get it. Okay. I tell you, you can find this one, it becomes a little bit flat and flat. So I tell you the secondary story is currently it's almost the profit is like that. And the people mentioned that's the result of my talk everywhere. You can see, I started to talk this trick a year ago, so that's the result of my talk. Okay. You can see that's very good then. You started to talk here. Honestly, so but I still have my students still have new trick. They tell their boss told them that don't tell your teachers, don't tell your teacher, especially then speak everywhere.
He'll tell everyone.
Yeah, he got like 2,000 Chinese yuan for honorarium, but we lost million. So that's the result. Talk. Okay, so but those are real things. You can check the data. That's for the 1 year of data. It's 1 year for the from March 1st of 2012 to the February 28th of last year. So it's 1 year. So I started to talk just the near the end of the year before last year. I started to talk. So it means the effect is clear, right? All right. So now, yes, here is the reference. But I tell you, honestly, none of those references are useful. Okay, but just the story after story, all right, from mathematical point of view, at least. So the last, yeah. So the last reference is in my book with Dr. Wang Zhaodong. I'm not sure if it is useful, but definitely it tells the truth and but the truth. Right. So this way. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Chen. Any questions?
After the publication of your book, I guess there are many people who use your strategy.
Yes.
Is there any risk of perturbation on the stationarity?
I'm not sure for that, but up to now it's stationary. I can tell you because in Shandong University, Professor Shi has a group work with him. They use the 92 indicators. Okay, not two indicators. I think they still observe that those are stationary. You have another three-dimensional, okay, stationary process, then definitely you can try to benefit from their stationary. Thank you.
More questions? Okay, let us thank the three speakers and